We're going to talk about a specific shake that I designed some years ago to smoothly fuel the body with a sustained energy release, making it perfect for an afternoon pick-me-up or to sustain an athlete on a long-distance run or when climbing a mountain. But by very virtue of its ability to sustain you for hours, it can also help you lose weight by obviating the need for between-meal snacks. We're talking about an energy shake that literally fuels your body for 3 to 4 hours, but without the jittery stimulant effect you get from coffee and energy drinks. Understand, all biological processes in the human body are affected through 3 main dietary groups of biologically active molecules: proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Most dietary shakes on the market are based on protein for building muscle, but the formula we're talking about today is based on carbohydrates. Carbs are fundamental building blocks for your body and play a crucial role in maintaining cell wall integrity. They're also important in the form of fiber for maintaining intestinal health, but primarily they are your body's main source of fuel. We're talking about short-term, mid-term, and sustained energy release versus the long-term energy storage of fat. That said, there's a lot of subtlety in the role carbs play in producing energy, and that's what we're going to focus on today. When most people think of carbs, they think of sugar and high glycemic foods, but the truth is carbs are so much more. They power every part of your body and energize it to work, run, jump, think, breathe, and more. As long as you're using your body, you need carbohydrates and the glucose that comes from them. The key to how carbohydrates are used in the body is how quickly they break down in the digestive tract. This is largely determined by their fundamental structure. Simple or short-chain carbohydrates don't need to be broken down at all. They are instantly available to the body. These are the sugars: glucose, sucrose, fructose, etc. There are many times that your body truly needs an instant influx of energy. But sugars don't work for long term. They provide instant energy. A high-level intake of sugar spikes insulin levels and contributes significantly to major health problems such as obesity and diabetes. Sugars are important, but their intake must be controlled. Complex or long-chain carbohydrates, on the other hand, cannot be utilized by the body until they are broken down into glucose. Complex carbohydrates consist of hundreds or thousands of sugar units linked together in single molecules. Some long-chain carbs, such as potatoes, bananas, refined grains, and maltodextrin, break down so quickly that they're virtually indistinguishable from straight sugar in their effect on the body. There are, however, 3 qualifiers for this. Fiber is a long-chain carbohydrate that cannot be digested by human beings. It has no calories because the body cannot absorb it. The more fiber present in your food, the more slowly the carbohydrates bound to that fiber break down. Thus, whole fruit is less glycemic than fruit juice. 2. If the simple sugars in a complex carbohydrate are not assembled in a straight line but include many branches, it slows the breakdown of the carbohydrate dramatically because the enzyme amylase does not work on branches. Examples of branched carbohydrates include the gums such as guar and xanthan. 3. This is the crucial point in terms of our discussion. If the length or complexity of the carbohydrate falls between that found in high glycemic foods and fiber, let's call them ultra-long-chain carbohydrates, they take longer to break down and thus provide a slower, more sustained release of energy. Whichever form of carbs you take, after digestion, it eventually appears in the circulatory system as glucose, where it is used by your body's cells for energy. The trick is to design your shake around carbohydrates that run the gamut of complexity so that full digestion and energy are both instant and long-term, with the release spread out over several hours. Do this, and there's no spike in blood sugar and insulin levels. The body does not store fat. You get sustained energy over a prolonged period of time. Now, let's talk about ingredients that achieve this objective. There are 2 key ingredients: pre-sprouted barley and stabilized rice bran. Barley itself has a remarkable glycemic index number of 25, which happens to be 22% less than skim milk. Historically, barley has been used for thousands of years. The Roman army marched on it. It was the primary staple of their diet. They picked up that trick from the Greek gladiators who trained on it and were known as barley eaters. So much for meat being the food of choice for macho men. And sprouting barley renders all of barley's nutrients and health benefits more bioavailable. Sprouting also reduces both the amount of starch and gluten in the barley, while at the same time increasing the amount of amylase, which helps break down the remaining carbohydrates. The problem with using sprouted barley in a formula is that it's extremely gelatinous. But researchers in Sweden figured out a way to use low-temperature steam, produced in a partial vacuum, to take the barley just up to the point of sprouting before it turns gelatinous, but after the point where all the proteins and carbohydrates have been converted and at a temperature low enough so that no enzymes are damaged. This turns out to be a remarkably interesting point. It's like the food is placed in a state of suspended animation at the point where all the energy of the grain has been marshaled to sprout, but has not yet expended that energy in the act of sprouting. The result is a brand new superfood with unbelievable properties. Like regular barley, it ranks incredibly low on the glycemic index. It has all the nutritional value of barley, high levels of tocotrienols and beta-glucans. In fact, pre-sprouting increases beta-glucan levels by some 77%. It contains thousands of active enzymes. It is an ultra-long-chain carbohydrate that takes up to 4 hours to break down in the digestive tract, thus providing a slow, sustained release of energy and insulin. And because the release is so slow, it actually lowers the body's insulin response. Next is stabilized rice bran. SRB is one of the world's great superfoods and is the other main ingredient in this formula. It's high in fiber, and it's also one of the premier sources of natural antioxidants, containing over 100 of them. But there are two primary reasons we use SRB in the formula. First, the fiber in the SRB helps slow down the uptake of all the carbohydrates in the formula, again, helping to provide a sustained, smooth release of the energy over 3 to 4 hours. And second is something called mitochondrial dysfunction. Mitochondrial dysfunction plays a role in compromising the energy production of every single cell in your body, but it plays an especially important role in brain aging. The mitochondria in affected cells display impaired energy metabolism, low ATP levels, and decreased mitochondrial respiration inside your body's cells, especially in your brain cells. But studies have shown that stabilized rice bran extract protects against mitochondrial dysfunction. That means improved energy production in every single cell in your body, including your brain, both for the near and long term. Kind of fundamental in an energy formula. Now let's talk about some of the complementary ingredients. Ingredients that don't directly provide energy, but support the pre-sprouted barley that does. When I design formulas, I'm always conscious of how people are going to use them in the real world. And most people are either going to mix this formula with fruit juice or blend it into a smoothie. That means fruit sugars. On the positive side, that provides short and midterm energy, but if not accounted for, might lead to insulin swings and energy collapses. So I've included 2 extra ingredients, banana leaf and blueberry leaf, in order to help smooth out any glycemic response associated with that sugar. The blood sugar regulating properties of banana leaf, Lagostremia speciosa, have been documented in cell culture, animal, and human studies. In isolated cells, the active ingredient in banana leaf, corosolic acid, is known to stimulate glucose uptake. In diabetic mice, rats, and rabbits, banana feeding reduces elevated blood sugar and insulin levels to normal. In humans with type 2 diabetes, banana extract has been shown to be effective in reducing blood sugar levels 5 to 30% and maintaining tight control of blood sugar fluctuations. Then there's European blueberry leaf, also known as bilberry leaf, Vaccinium myrtillus, which contains pharmaceutical amounts of both chlorogenic and caffeic acids, about 20%. New studies have shown that taken together, the unique compounds in bilberry leaf help to simultaneously reduce glucose absorption in the intestines, decrease glucose synthesis in the liver, and speed up the rate of glucose metabolism. Historically, the leaves and fruits of European bilberry have been used to treat diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, dementia, and cancer. The anti-diabetic properties of the plant are attributed mostly to the content of anthocyanins and polyphenols. These compounds have proven their anti-diabetic potential in various studies. Their mechanism of action is to increase insulin secretion, reduce insulin resistance, promote glucose absorption out of the bloodstream and liver and into muscle tissue, and protect pancreatic beta cells from glucose-induced oxidative stress. Now let's talk about guarana. When you see guarana in this formula, you might think that it's where the energy comes from. As it turns out, you would be mistaken. In fact, there's only 200 milligrams of guarana per serving, which translates to 5 to 10 milligrams of guaranine per serving. To give you some perspective, you would need to drink 10 to 20 shakes to get the caffeine equivalent of just 1 cup of coffee. And unlike coffee, which releases all its caffeine stimulation pretty much instantly, because the guaranine is bound to the guarana fiber, it releases slowly over about 3 to 4 hours. So what's the point if it's so little stimulant per serving? Quite simply, its purpose in the formula is not to give you energy, but to provide an edge to the 3 to 4 hours of smooth energy you're already getting from the carbohydrates in the formula. The next 3 ingredients, wheatgrass, alfalfa leaf, and oatgrass, are included to give the shake some complementary nutritional value. I'm not talking about vitamins and minerals, although they are abundant in these ingredients, but specialized health benefits that complement the primary fuel function of the formula. Wheatgrass, the young grass of the common wheat plant, Triticum aestivium, has been called one of nature's finest medicines. It contains chlorophyll, flavonoids, enzymes, vitamins such as C and E, and nutrients that are essential for a healthy body. The benefits of wheatgrass are enormous. These include correcting blood sugar imbalances, purifying the blood, enhancing hemoglobin production, neutralizing toxins, purifying the liver, and removing heavy metals from the body. If you've ever tasted wheatgrass juice, you know how almost cloyingly sweet it is. In other words, it's high in sugar. Wheatgrass juice then provides a short-term energy boost component for the shake. The amount used, however, is not sufficient to drive an insulin spike. Revered as the father of all foods, alfalfa has been eaten for centuries by people seeking a rich source of essential minerals and vitamins. Alfalfa leaf helps the body assimilate protein, calcium, and other nutrients. It's a rich source of chlorophyll and the richest land source of trace minerals, and it is high in fructooligosaccharides, which promote the growth of healthy bacteria in the gut and neutralize bad bacteria overgrowth such as candida. It's used in this formula because studies have shown the consumption of alfalfa extract significantly reduces glucose levels in the body. Oatgrass has a relaxing and stimulating effect that nourishes and strengthens all the organs and systems of the body. It is extremely rich in antioxidants, including polyphenols and one powerful antioxidant called trypsin, a flavone compound that exerts smooth muscle-relaxing properties. Green oats are also high in beta-glucan, which has been shown to reduce serum cholesterol and improve postprandial insulin and glucose responses in healthy and diabetic adults. In addition, the major bioactives in oats include tocopherols, tocotrienols, phenolic acid, sterol, selenium, and avenanthramides. Stevia is used in this formula both to sweeten it and for its nutraceutical value. Studies have shown that stevia has the wonderful ability to help the body regulate blood sugar through its ability to revitalize beta cells in the pancreas. The end result of this formulation is a shake powder that tastes great, mixes beautifully, nutritionally supports your body's ability to control the glycemic response, even when mixed with blended fruit or fruit juices, creates a sense of fullness and satiety that lasts for 3 to 4 hours, is loaded with hundreds of antioxidants and phytochemicals that support and nourish the body, helps you lose weight quickly, easily, and sustainably, and most importantly, fuels a sustained energy release that lasts for 3 to 4 hours. This makes it perfect for an afternoon pick-me-up or to fuel an athlete on a long-distance run or when climbing a mountain. But by very virtue of its ability to sustain you for hours, it can also help you lose weight by obviating the need for between-meal snacks. We're talking about an energy shake that literally fuels your body for 3 to 4 hours, but without the jittery effect you get from coffee and energy drinks. This truly is a different kind of shake.